Hello, wonderful humans, and welcome back to Sargie Style. My name is Ashley Sargent, otherwise known as Sarge, and I am so happy to have you here today. So I am getting ready to go to my dad's birthday party, and I am feeling pretty terrible, so I wanted to do kind of a get ready with me video where I get myself looking presentable, but also kind of just have a conversation with you guys about how I pull myself together for special events when I'm not feeling very well. So anyway, I'm not going to talk through all my steps because we don't have time for that, but getting ready to see family and celebrate even when you've been feeling terrible can be so hard. And one of the best things that I like to do is make sure that what I'm wearing is comfortable. So don't try, if you're in a lot of pain, don't try to wear some super skin tight outfit that's gonna make you uncomfortable or anything like that. Just make sure you're comfortable, and you can be comfortable and cute at the same time. Those two things are not exclusive. So I always make sure that I try to dress comfortably, and I have certain outfits that I definitely tend to wear a lot because they look put together and like I'm really trying, but are very comfortable. And to me, that's huge, and it's just going to help prevent any additional pain from forming. And so today, part of it also is I tend to do a little bit heavier makeup than I maybe normally would. So like I'm applying more foundation than I probably would. Also, it's a party, so like I'm gonna be trying to look a little cuter, but I apply more foundation than I normally would, and when I don't feel well, I definitely up the makeup amount that I'm wearing because it just kind of helps me feel powerful and in control of something. And it's like war paint, because sometimes I've noticed that when I'm not feeling well and I'm going to an event or something, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I don't want that to be the focus of tonight's event. So like I've been having a lot of seizures recently, non-epileptic seizures, and they're one of those things that really scares people, and people have a lot of questions about, which is super fair, but I don't have a lot of answers. We don't know really why they cluster. Like, there's a lot we don't know about them, and they make me feel really terrible. I actually dislocated my hip and I'm having a lot of pain from that. So I just like really don't feel well, and it's one of those flare type situations that like honestly I don't feel like talking about it. So this may be a controversial statement to some people. I actually do intentionally try to hide how much pain I'm in sometimes with makeup and make myself look glowy, because then I can talk about other things and it's not just like written all over my face, and the people that need to know. Like my mom knows what's up, my dad knows what's up, but not every single person who is going to be attending tonight knows what's going on, and then I can talk about other things happening in my world. Get those freaking zits, like, oh my gosh. And okay, so in terms of the zits, I'm not somebody who really picks at zits because they scar when you pick at them, so I don't do that. But I just kind of let them run their course through masks and toners and diet and all of that. But like, good God, these ones will not go away. It is driving me nuts. And for anyone who's a professional makeup artist, I'm sure I'm doing a million things wrong. I'm not a professional makeup artist. I learned everything by practice, watching videos, and actually before YouTube was a thing, when I was in high school, I would like if I saw a makeup look in a movie or like a TV show or some type of, I don't know, some type of advertising, whatever, I would try to mimic it, and I would just like practice mimicking it, especially people who had similar complexion to mine. I would see like Nicole Kidman. She was somebody who was very popular when I was in high school, so I would try to see like what makeup looks she did, because she's also very pale skinned or very fair skinned with red or auburn hair, and so I would kind of look at like, okay, well, how does she do her makeup? How do they style her? So a lot of it, I'm self-taught, just in case you guys are wondering. But anyway, yeah, so I really use makeup as a tool to make me feel empowered, and then I don't have to talk about not feeling well because I don't look like I feel like crap. It's the funniest thing, right? Yeah, so one of the things I do is definitely wear comfortable clothes. I also make sure that I am styled and looking cute, and like it can feel like that's maybe a waste of energy, you know, to be like, oh, well, you're taking all this time and energy into putting on your makeup and doing your hair or whatever, but cat hair. But like that should be saved for the event, right? But for me, sorry, there was a cat hair stuck to my lip. But for me, this is what I have found works best, is when I just feel better about myself, about everything, and I'm like a more confident individual when I am put together. When my makeup looks cute, when all of those things, it just makes me feel good about myself, and I don't really know how else to say it. In terms of like how else to get ready, is another good trick besides like making sure that you physically look and feel like look your best. Just like making that effort can really make a difference, because even if you don't feel well, it's a sign of respect of like, hey, I put the effort in to like, I'm coming, I'm here, I respect myself, and I respect you enough to like put myself together. And I think that that's really important. But aside from makeup, ways to get ready for an event are definitely make sure you're hydrated. Do not ever go to an event or a party without being hydrated. Make sure that you've taken all your medications, like or that you have them on hand. Some of this may sound obvious, but like it's easy to forget that you should do these things. It really is. Make sure you have all your meds, and I also have like just in case meds. So you may not be in really bad pain at the moment, but like bring your pain meds just in case. Bring a nausea medication if that's like an issue you deal with, just in case. You just want to make sure like that if something bad happens, you're prepared. But that's my personal opinion. Also, I like to do a little bit of like visualization. So imagine the event going really well. And I do this with anything and everything. So like I'll visualize appointments going well. I'll visualize anything that just like, if I'm not feeling great or if I'm feeling scared about something, I will imagine it going super, super well. Yeah, and it really makes a huge, huge difference for me, because it kind of like puts your brain in that mindset of like, oh, I'm gonna be okay. Like, this isn't gonna be scary. And so instead of thinking about like, the what ifs, like what if this happens or what if that happens. It's more like, okay, well, those things could happen and you should prepare for them. Like, yes, I could have a seizure today, or I could have a huge pain flare today. These are real things. Blended that one talking. But like also it could be really fun. Everything could go really, really well. So I think it's important to think about and focus on the things that could go really, really well. And that's what I like to try to do, is to visualize it going well versus visualize all the terrible things that could go wrong. So giving yourself a moment to like acknowledge the things that you're anxious about and that you're afraid of, and to think about how, like, what would happen if that didn't go wrong. Like, okay, maybe it won't happen that way. Maybe you won't get sick. Maybe once you're there, your pain will feel better because you'll be surrounded by people who love you, and won't that be great? You know, like, there's ways to shift your perspective from like, oh, I'm really, really scared, to, oh, this could potentially go really, really well, or even just like kind of well. Like, if that makes sense. We have a tendency to be afraid, and I know for a fact that fear makes throwing stuff. Fear makes the wolf bigger. And when you visualize it going well, and you visualize yourself having like so much fun, then suddenly those fears can start to, I don't really know how to say it, they start to disappear a little bit. They start to lighten up. So I just did my face. And I know a lot of people don't start with their faces. I do. I'm going to come in and do my eyes now. And if you guys want like an actual tutorial of what I do with my makeup, let me know. I'm not explaining anything because I can't talk that much at one time. I can't like explain and talk about how I manage social events and all of these things. But so anyway, if you're feeling like really overwhelmed or scared or anything like that going into a social event, or you're just like not in the mood to talk to people, take a moment, take some deep breaths, give yourself a permission, like tell yourself it's okay to feel that way, because it's totally okay to feel that way. And then think about like 5 things you're really excited about. You know, I'm excited to see my dad. I'm excited to see my family. I'm excited to play with my niece and nephew. And find things that you can basically like look forward to in the event, or during the party, so that you are less likely to be like super bummer about it, if that makes sense. So that's something I really definitely recommend. Another thing is, if food is an issue for you, in the sense of like you're on a restricted diet, or you have dietary issues, bring your own food. It's really that simple. Or eat beforehand. I have found that trying to communicate my dietary needs to other people is really stressful for myself as well as for the host or hostess. So a lot of times I bring my own stuff, I bring my own treats, or I make sure that I've already eaten so that I can just kind of like pick at stuff, but I'm not starving to death. But okay, so what did we talk about? We've talked about getting yourself looking fly and feeling good about yourself. Super important. Making sure you're hydrated and fed. Visualization. and accepting, like, yeah, visualizing yourself having a lot of fun. So important. That's important in life, to just like imagine the best case scenario. Prepare for the worst and expect the best is a very common mantra of mine. Okay, so then the final like piece of advice that I have when it comes to going to events when you feel like crap is to accept that you feel terrible, and like if you have to leave early, leave early. There's no shame at all in that. Like, leave early. Tell somebody, go home, or take a nap. Like, I've definitely gone and taken a rest before, and it makes a huge difference to just like step back, because sometimes it's just a matter of like you get sensory overload, right? You're totally overwhelmed. Too much is going on. There's too many people around, and it becomes really, really overwhelming. So that's fair, and it's a real thing that happens. So if that's what's happening to you, then definitely speak up and step back. There's no shame in that. So yeah, you may just end up not feeling well and having to go home or having to rest, and that's okay. And I think that that's actually the most important part of acceptance, or the most important step is this acceptance that like it just might not work out. You just might end up feeling bad, and there's only so much that we can do. There's only so much water you can drink and salad you can eat and medications you can take, but like if you feel terrible, you feel terrible. The end. And there's no reason to, one, push your body past what its limits safely are, because you will regret it. And there's also no reason to like make yourself miserable, because I know for a fact, and I know from experience, that it's not fun. Like, if you are feeling really terrible and you're at a party, you're at an event, and you're trying to like really play up like, oh, I'm fine, everything's great, I feel so good, I'm so fine, and you're not fine, like, it's miserable. It's so miserable. So don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Like, lay down, go home, be grateful for the time you had at the party, and then move on, move past it. I highly, highly recommend practicing doing your makeup when you are not feeling well. Like, if you're having a bad day, I highly recommend practicing doing your makeup. It is like the best way to pass time, and then when you're doing it for real, you have those techniques down. Because who cares if you, sorry, cleaning up a little, who cares if you mess up? Like, I had so much glitter fall out. Oh my god. It doesn't really matter if you mess up like when you're not going anywhere, but if you're trying to get somewhere and suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, my face looks so busted, then that's not a cute look. These kinds of things happen to me all the time. Don't get upset about them. I kind of wait till the end, and a good Q-tip will help clean them up. When you have tremors and I don't feel good type situations happening, you're gonna make mistakes. Another thing, just like has a warning, is if you know you're not feeling well, don't try some like elaborate makeup look or hair look, or don't try something super extreme. So I really honestly feel like we as a society put a lot of expectations on ourselves to always be like full bloom, like the full best versions of ourselves. Like every social gathering, every event, every party, everything, where there's this expectation for us to be like the best version of ourselves. And it's not fair. And I think that even people who live with chronic illness struggle to maintain like that level of I'm so excited and I have so much energy all the time, because like everybody's tired, everybody's busy, everybody's hustling. So the whole like owning being tired is so important in my opinion. And so I'm gonna wash this because it was used with a liquid eyeliner or eyeshadow, and it is basically useless unless I wash it. So I am gonna do one last coat on my lashes. But it's that expectation to just make sure that we're like always the top performer, or we're not top performer, that we're always happy and perfect and all of these things. And it's such an unfair expectation. It's not fair for us to expect ourselves to be able to just like pull it together completely. It's not fair for us to expect ourselves to always be able to pull it together for other people's needs. It's not fair for others to expect that of us. It's just not a realistic expectation. And so if anything, I want you all to take from this video the fact that no matter how you're feeling, good, bad, in between, it's okay to just own the way that you're feeling and to feel how you're feeling. So that's kind of where I wanted to end this Get Ready With Me overall, is just keep in mind that like you are enough exactly how you are. And so I think I've learned with finishing spray is I have to like let it dry before I open my eyes, because otherwise my mascara gets everywhere. But it is, setting spray is hugely important. But just like being okay with where you are and being okay with how you're feeling and what's happening in your body and in your life and all of those things is so, so, so important. There we go. Ha, beautimus. So that's kind of what I want you guys to take away from this, is that no matter what, like you deserve to feel beautiful, you deserve to feel good about yourself, and you don't need to lie or fake being happy, being okay, or any of that to make other people happy. That is crazy to me. It's unfair to yourself. Like you are setting yourself up with unfair expectations, and like don't do that. It's just not worth it. It really isn't. So if you have an event to go to and you're not feeling well, trying to make yourself like look put together is a huge help, at least for me, because I feel like it directs the conversation other places. And yeah, you are gonna have people who are like, oh, well, you don't look sick, and to them, kind of a giant middle finger. Like, it doesn't matter. There are always going to be people who tell you that you don't look sick. I know that from over 15 years of not looking sick enough, that there are always going to be people who don't believe you, who don't want to believe you, who have this sort of like idea that a sick person or someone in pain should look a very specific way, and like we don't. Sometimes we look really cute. So don't let other people's opinions affect, sorry, I decided to just go ahead and do my hair while I'm talking. Don't let other people's opinions affect how you present yourself and like whether or not you have fun. Because I know for me too, like sometimes if I'm feeling really badly I'll suddenly get like kind of a second wind almost at an event if I'm spending time with friends and family, because it's just nice to be around people that I love, that I'll get that second wind and I suddenly want to, or I'm suddenly able to do more than I was that morning or something, you know what I mean? Or I seem better than expected, and that's good, and you should celebrate that. And if other people take issue with it, it's their issue. It's not yours. So, like, forget them. Basically, doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm gonna have to double check my hair in the mirror because I can't fully tell in this mirror, but I am gonna do a neutral lip. I don't think it's in here. It is not. My lipstick is in my purse that I want to use, so sorry. That's it. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you do want me to do a full video of like my makeup routine and like fast face or a more elaborate face, how I do a cat eye, any type of makeup or hair tutorials, I would love to do those. Just let me know, and thank you for spending your time with me today. I really, really appreciate it. I hope that you are having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Mwah! Sending you so much love.